Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. So this morning, and I mean very, very early this morning, it was I think 12:38 a.m., the state Senate voted on HB 7042, and of course, it passed. Now, yesterday was a flurry of amendments and a bunch of other stuff. We are now currently sitting at 25 pages for this bill, and I'm going to break it down for you. But first, a word from our sponsor. Hey, quick shout out to today's sponsor, GlockGrip.com. If you're still rocking the stock grips on your Glock, well, it's time for an upgrade. These guys make custom grips that give you better control, reduce slip, and make Glocks feel like they're molded for your hand. Tons of colors and textures to choose from. Installs in just minutes and holds up to serious use. So head over to GlockGrip.com and pick yours up today. And if you use promo code GRIP10, you'll get 10% off your purchase. All right, back to the video. All right, so yesterday, as I was driving back into Connecticut, throughout the day, my cell phone kept dinging like crazy for Gun Guru. That's because I'm following from the House of Reps and such, HB 7042. And for those of you who don't know what it is, that is an act concerning the implementation of Firearm Industry Responsibility Act, firearm permits and eligibility certificates, and self-defense. It's a long name. Bunch of touchy-feely good things in there. We'll get into all of it just in case this is the first video you've actually seen about this. As you can tell, the studio is actually coming along quite well. There's still a little tweaks I want to do, get the lighting adjusted just right, but for now, I'm dealing with it, so you'll have to deal with it. We're just trying to get the information out to you dealing with HB 7042. So, like I was saying, there was a flurry of amendments yesterday. All of them that I could find that I was looking at were all introduced by Senator Rob Sampson, a Republican. And they were trying to change certain definitions, strike certain things, add in new wording that would not make the bill suck as bad. Well, unfortunately, they were not adopted. So there were a slew of them that weren't even called up. And then there were another 18 that were called up. And the emails that I kept getting were updates every time they voted on one of the amendments. And they were all shut down. They didn't go anywhere. I'm actually going to put a link in the description below for you to take a look at this bill and all the changes that have been made between yesterday and today when I am filming this video. The new changes that came out today were basically they voted on it. So now this bill, as it is on its way to Lamont's desk. So we'll basically guarantee that Lamont's going to sign it. Lamont is not going to veto this. He is not going to shut it down. This is exactly what they want. So let's take a look at it. Let's get into it. So if you've watched previous videos before, you know the meat of the bill. All the stuff that's in there. And the last update I did, I kind of threw in all the new stuff. It went from, originally it was 6 pages in committee. When it came out of committee, it was only 4 pages. And everybody's like, oh, it's been gutted. It's great. It's like, you do realize that the House and the Senate still get to amend. So it goes into the House. And it's only 4 pages long. And it comes out right around 15 pages. Then it gets passed and it goes off to the Senate. And there's another round of amendments. Now, of course, like I said, Sampson tried to put a bunch of amendments in. They were all shot down. So how did we end up at 25 pages? Well, it's really only 15 pages, and the rest of them, the other 10 pages, are basically just administrative BS, and we're going to cover that. Okay, so here we go. It is now filed. The file number is 819. So HB7042 is file number 819. That's what it came out of the Senate. And this is passed. It's on its way to Lamont, which I said, he's going to sign it. All right. Some of the key things I wanted to hit on. When you go to page 2 and you start at lines 36 to 39, all right, it says this is going to be used to prevent the sale or distribution in this state of a firearm industry product that is designed in a manner that is reasonably foreseeable to promote conversion of a legal firearm industry product into an illegal firearm industry product. So what is that? I'll tell you exactly what it is. It's your Glock. That's all it is. That is what they are talking about. This bill will stop Glocks from being sold in the state of Connecticut. It comes down to you can buy a standard Glock 19 and you can illegally convert it with an illegal Glock switch from semi-automatic to full auto. Tong and several other blue states are suing Glock because Glocks have the inherent ability to be manipulated and twisted in a way it's not designed to be. That being said, they're being sued because they, haven't redesigned the guns to prevent this. Okay, it's Glock perfection. They're perfect the way they are. But because people illegally convert their semi-automatics with an illegal Glock switch, we're going to make it more illegal by just banning Glocks. It doesn't say anything about the Glocks that are currently owned by Connecticut residents. It just says it's to prevent the sale or distribution in this state of firearm industry product that is designed in a manner that is reasonably foreseeable to promote conversion. Here's my thing. If you go into a gun store and you buy yourself the standard Glock 19, as a gun store employee, it's reasonably to assume that because you are at the FFL buying that gun, filling out your 4473, DPS 3, DPS 67, I foresee that you will be a law-abiding citizen. So there's no problem there. Obviously, if you do something illegal, not once, but twice, by converting and then installing an illegal item, the liability will fall back on the FFL. And that's insane. That's absolutely insane. But, hey, you know what? Like I always say, I always put it in the comments. It's all part of the plan. Other things that have changed. Page 4, subsection B. The section 29 through 28 of the general statute is repealed, and the following is substituted in lieu thereof. So the general statute, this is dealing with permitting, things like that. It stays the same, except they add in, and you have to read it, a misdemeanor violation in another state or federal, tribal, or military court or any foreign jurisdiction during the preceding 8 years that reasonable reviewer would believe to constitute any crime of violence against another person causing physical injury. 2, any crime with extreme indifference to human life creates a risk of serious physical injury or with criminal negligence causes the death of another person other than that of a motor vehicle. 3, any crime that is by physical threat, course of conduct causes another person to reasonably fear for such personal safety. 4, any crime involving engaging in or inciting in a riot. 5, possession of a controlled substance or hallucinogenic substance, each as defined in section 21A-240, other than less than 4 ounces of cannabis or less than 1/2 ounce of psilocybin or nicotine. Now, why are they throwing this in there? Because, like I've described to you before, people that move to Connecticut who may have been convicted of one of the 11 misdemeanors that here in the state make you ineligible for a permit. Well, Connecticut and these other states, they don't communicate. I never knew that. I thought all states communicated with each other. Now, you may know this already, but I did not. In fact, when you go to, say, Tennessee, and you get a Tennessee driver's license, and you're coming from Connecticut, the state of Connecticut does not communicate with Tennessee. Thus, you need to provide an abstract, or driving abstract, from Connecticut to the Tennessee DMV, because the states don't communicate. So here in Connecticut, when the cops are behind you and they run your plates, they're getting all your pertinent information. They get your driver's license, they get your pistol permit. Apparently, they get all your guns that are in the system. But if you have Tennessee plates, when the trooper or the local PD run those Tennessee plates, they get bupkis. Because Connecticut doesn't talk to Tennessee, Tennessee does not talk to Connecticut. So, there you go. So that's why that's thrown in there. Because right now, you as a Connecticut resident go apply for your pistol permit, you will be denied if you are convicted of a felony or those 11 specific misdemeanors. But if you came from another state that doesn't communicate with Connecticut, and you were convicted of one of those 11 misdemeanors that would make you ineligible in the state of Connecticut as a resident, but because you came from somewhere else, they don't know, you were able to get a permit, which was absolutely insane that they were treating Connecticut residents way harsher than people who moved from other states. So they're fixing it, as they put it. All right. So that's added in there, which you guys knew. I covered that in the previous video. And then the rest of it is just the general statute. This is what I like. When you get all the way to the last page, the explanation of why are we doing this bill. It's simple, because it gives you the OFA fiscal notes, but it says right here, and this is why they're doing it. The explanation. The bill results in 1, a potential revenue gain for the state and municipalities. 2, the potential savings to the Judicial Department for probation and potential revenue loss from fines. Its details are provided below in that section. So the overall arch of this whole thing is a revenue boost to the state. And of course, anyone who sues you civilly. But remember, it's not just an individual that can sue you in civil court. The state and the municipality also are eligible to sue you in civil court for damages done with your gun, right? So if you're the FFL owner, not only can an individual sue you in civil court for damages, but then the town and the state can both do it. So you're getting whacked 3 different directions. It's the state's like, yeah, we're doing it because it's basically a revenue boost. That's it. That's all they want. The court system disposes of over 250,000 cases annually, and the number of cases are not anticipated to be great enough to need additional resources. So the state can basically deal with all of this new civil liability with what is currently there. Sections 4 through 6 add certain misdemeanor convictions that occur in other jurisdictions, blah, blah, blah. I just discussed that. So this little breakdown tells you everything. And of course, it says section 7 through 8 exclude the intentional discharge of a firearm in self-defense or the defense of others from a Class C misdemeanor for unlawfully discharging a firearm results in potential savings to the Judicial Department. Boom, boom, boom. So it goes through and strikes language to where if you discharge your firearm and you're within a certain proximity to your neighbor's home, well, there's laws on the books that say you can't discharge a firearm in that proximity. Thus, if you have somebody break into your home and you defend yourself, okay, yes, we have castle doctrine, so you might not get charged with shooting the violent home intruder criminally, but they'd be able to bring charges that, well, you discharged your gun too close to your neighbor's house, your neighbor's dwelling, thus we're going to charge you with that. Not shooting the bad guy, but shooting the bad guy too close to your neighbor's house. So the language that they're adding in gets rid of all that to where they can't bring those charges against you. Everyone's like, well, that's a good thing. Yeah, that's a good thing. But the beginning of the whole bill is rife with garbage. It's crap. It is going to cause FFLs to not only lawfully discriminate, but some potentially might just close up their doors because they're not going to want to take on that type of liability. Now, some of you might be thinking, well, maybe the FFL could just have you, the law-abiding citizen about to purchase a firearm, sign some sort of affidavit saying that you're not going to go out and do bad things. Well, until this is signed by Lamont, we're really not sure if something like that would actually stand up in court. We're not too sure. That's not for me and not for FFLs. That's for the lawyers to kind of figure out. Rest assured, the lawyers are working on it. Okay, so those are your first 16 pages. After that, you have your OLR bill analysis, the HB7042, which has been amended by House A. It's an amendment, which is all those other things that I added, that I told you about from the original 4 pages to expand it out. It gives you this summary, so it breaks it all down the best it can in layman's terms for the rest of us to kind of understand. And they just kind of rehash it out. They go through requirements and restrictions for firearm industry members. The bill establishes the following requirements and restrictions for firearm industry members. Well, what's that? That is your FFL owner, your local gun store employee, hey, your local gun tuber, because the way the firearm industry members are defined, that includes me, apparently. So under this bill, firearm industry member, a person or entity or association, corporation, trade association, engaging in manufacturing, distribution, importation, marketing, that's this, or sale, wholesale or retail of a firearm industry product, guns, and it goes on just to explain it. It's done. It's dystopian, guys. It's gonna go to Lamont's desk just like this. And he's gonna sign this crap in, and we're done. I don't know what to tell you. This state is getting more and more anti-2A every cycle. It's absolutely insane. It's like they just want everybody that owns guns to leave. They want all the FFLs to leave. You know, at one point in our history, Connecticut was the #1 firearms manufacturer in the country. The best damn guns came out of Connecticut. Hell, the Colt Peacemaker won the West, and that was made right here in Hartford. Not anymore. That's it. They're gone. All these gun manufacturers, Marlin, Troy, you just keep naming them. They've all left. They've gone for greener pastures, right? They've gone to states where they're actually appreciated. And that leaves us getting shafted. All right, I'm sure you guys are going to get into that comment section. Like, where's the CCDL? CCDL does not communicate with what they're doing. They do not give statements on their legal actions, whether they are or are not. So, what is their stance on this? I'm sure they oppose it, but I really have no idea. I really don't. So, now, let's talk about who voted for this. Well, I'd like to say, you know what? It was straight across party lines, right? Republicans said nay, Democrats said yay. But I'd be remiss because we had a little shocker. So, obviously, 99% of the Republicans said no. So you had Kissel, Sampson, Summers, Perillo, Harding, Martin, Bethrel, Cicerella, I just slaughtered his name, Gordon, and Fazio. They all said nay. You know, I'm missing a Republican. Oh, Tony Huang. Nah, his dumbass voted yes. Okay. But there were 11 votes that said no. I only named 10 Republicans. That's because Catherine A. Osteen, Democrat. She voted no. I don't know why she voted no, but she voted no. I don't think it's because she's pro-2A. I think it's probably because it wasn't enough. I don't know. I couldn't find any information on it. If you guys, come on, viewer, if you know why Catherine Osteen, I have no idea. Osteen, something. If you know why she voted no as a Democrat, hit up those comment section down there. Just enlighten me. I really want to know. Because she broke ranks. Huang's not a real Republican. He's a rhino. He voted for HB 6667. We told him not to, and he voted for it anyway. He's not a real Republican, guys. He's R in name only. That guy is a Democrat through and through. I don't understand how he keeps winning. He needs to be voted out of office. He is not a real Republican. Somebody needs to primary his dumb ass, because as a Republican, you should not be voting for more and more gun control. All right, so that's all I have for you guys today. It was just breaking news that HB7042 is on its way to the governor's desk to be signed. Here are the morons that voted for it. And the bill was pretty much unchanged. Sampson tried to throw out 18 called amendments and a whole lot more that were not called, trying to undo some things or change some of that wording to make it less crappy, which is nearly impossible to do, but he tried. They were all shot down, and we're left with a monstrosity that is going to make your local FFL on the hook for whatever you do with your gun once you bought it. So that's absolutely insane. So there you go, guys. Let me know what you think down in the comment section. I know a lot of you were like, oh, it's a 100% chance this is going to pass. You're right. You're right. I know Fishbine told me, oh, maybe 85 to 90%. Nah, it was 100%. I thought maybe 85, 90% it would go through as is. It would just get worse, more than likely, but it pretty much as is. The way it came out of the House and went to the Senate is what got passed. So we know that it's crap. It is what it is. If you've made it this far in the video, I appreciate it. The best way to support the channel is down in the description below is a link to the merch store. You got Teespring and Bonfire. Both merch sites have different designs. The Bonfire one is a slightly more spicy than Teespring. They don't tend to approve the spicy designs. You can always become a member right here on YouTube and see some behind the scenes videos. We've got locals, we have Patreon, things like that. Also, all this stuff helps grow the channel, helps for, you know, when things fall apart, we can get nice desk and build the studio back out for the great flood of 2025. All right, that's it, guys. I will see all of you in the next video.